Hello and welcome to Monkey Knife Fight Live. Folks, I'm Connor Rowntree, and I'm excited to be joined today by Tyler May, Teammate DFS from Spari. We're going to be talking some MLB picks all day today. Oh, not all day, over the next hour for the picks and the games across all day. And some breaking news across the MLB. Tyler May, you're a big Yankees fan, as we discovered. And Joey Gallo is off to the Bronx. Obviously, a heavy-hitting left-handed bat. We were talking about they need the lefty bat. And one thing that I just want to touch on before I let you get your say in about this is how important this is, because we were talking about the Yankees have been striking out a lot in a very tough division with the Rays have unbelievable pitching, and they know how to throw strikes. And the Yankees are a little older, a bunch of guys in their mid-30s that aren't getting around on those 96 to 99 mile per hour fastballs. You bring in a guy, Joey Gallo, under 30 years old, the big left-handed bat, which they need. He can go long in Yankee Stadium. As a Blue Jays fan, this is not a trade that I like to see entering the division. As a Yankees fan, how do you see this playing out, Team A?
So for the Yankees, makes a lot of sense. They needed a left-handed hitter, and Joey Gallo obviously fits the bill, hits home runs, and is a guy that gets on base a ton. As for the strikeouts, I think a strikeout is as good as any other out in baseball. And if you're striking out, you're not hitting to double play, which has, it's the least efficient outcome right now in baseball. And talking about strikeouts, you talk about the Tampa Bay Rays, who, they're an elite team in baseball, and they have the second highest strikeout rate in baseball. So again, strikeouts, it means nothing.
Just absolutely nothing. Well, what about the beard? I mean, he's going to have to shave the beard. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if I were to shave this off, I don't think any of my picks would hit. So I don't know how's he going to hit without the beard? Or are you not worried about it?
I saw a picture where it came up when he only had some stubble, so I'd imagine it'd be close to that. But he did struggle when he first came up, so that might be the mojo losing.
Keep an eye on the beard, folks. Joey Gallo joins the Yankees, and some other rumbling around the American League. Cesar Hernandez is on his way to division rival Chicago White Sox. Obviously, that's a huge deal. Cesar Hernandez is he's lightening up right now as a shortstop, veteran shortstop, and he's found a way to go yard as of late. And we're going to talk a little home run blast now. Tyler, give me your take on Cesar Hernandez and then another guy that you'd like to go yard tonight in the MLB.
So Cesar Hernandez makes sense for the White Sox because they struck out on Adam Frazier, and they can just stick Cesar Hernandez at second base. He's had some decent power from the left-hand side, so I think that not a bad idea at all. Another guy that grades out really well for us today, Connor, you're gonna like this pick. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. looking really good, and he's my number one pick in the home run blast.
Nice. I love that. What's his line right now on Spari? Where's he coming in? Is he over that? I know we were talking last week, and you're all about that 2.5 efficiency for the home run. Mm-hmm. And where's he coming in right now?
Yeah, so really anything over 2 looks really good. And Vlad right now is at a 2.39. So looking really good.
I like that. Yeah, obviously the matchup with Eduardo Rodriguez, he likes to throw those kind of floating changeup balls. And if you get on those things, oh, baby, it's going to be a long day. And we're actually going to get into that Blue Jays matchup a little later. But here's another pick for your home run derby. We got Cesar Hernandez, who has 2 home runs in his last 3 games. You have Vladimir Guerrero Jr., courtesy of Team A over from the DFS side at Spari. And how about Shohei Ohtani? Where's he coming in at on Spari? Because he's riding a 6-game hit streak with 8 knocks over that span and has 3 home runs in his last 4 games played and 2 in back-to-back games. So I'm something tells me he's got to be looking pretty nice on Spari, but I'm not sure. So let's take a peek.
Well, kind of hit the nail on the head there because he's the highest projected hitter on the day. So, Shohei Ohtani's he's the kind of hitter that once he gets hot, he just kind of stays hot, and he's going to be driving the ball all over the place when he's hot, and it looks like he's in one of those streaks right now.
Yeah, well, obviously leading the league in home runs. And just a side note about Shohei Ohtani, it really is. I know every time everybody talks about him, from ESPN to us here on Monkey Knife Fight, obviously same level, right? But it's really is crazy what he's doing and how he is changing the game. It's that minor league ability to both pitch and hit with such efficiency, but he's doing it at such a crazy level. And then
Mhm.
one of his home runs, the way he's able to get it down like a golf swing and absolutely change the angle and the trajectory. It's crazy to see his power. It's crazy to see him on the mound. And do you just have any notes as just a baseball fan on Shohei Ohtani, Tyler?
His plate coverage it's insane. So when I look at his swing, obviously, he has like that classic Japanese sort of like fall away towards the first base side in his swing, kind of like Hideki Matsui. But his plate coverage is insane. So he can pretty much hit anything.
Oh, yeah. We got to clip that one
Yeah.
later. That was a great analytical breakdown on that. But let's get into that. Jason, if you don't mind, can we go to that Chicago White Sox? No, it's the LA Angels game, please. And they're taking on the Oakland Athletics in the late slate later tonight on Monkey Knife Fight. So you can see it there. And I love this more or less contest. This featured more or less contest. Shohei Ohtani hits and walks 1.5. We were talking about it earlier. You had him good for, I think, 2 hits on my Spari, 2.6, was it?
2.69 total bases.
So that's total bases. So that equivalates to the hits and walks. And plus, he's seeing the ball well. As I said before, 8 hits in his last 6 games, riding the hit streak. And then if we look over to Frankie Montez, well, he has 27 strikeouts in his last 3 starts. And if we date back to his date with the Angels in June, he struck out 8 Angels across 7 innings of work. So I actually like the more on that with the classic homework side. Where does my Spari come in with the Frankie Montez line on the strikeouts?
So Frankie Montas, we have him just over at 5.8. So it's kind of a push. But if you go back to his game log, in 3 straight games, he has at least 7 strikeouts, with 2 of those being 10 strikeout games. So, he's throwing well right now. And, I think it could go either way, but I'll probably lean towards more.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, right? The 27 strikeouts in the last 3 games. And then if you look at the matchup, you get down to the splits and you look at him versus the Angels themselves. I mean, you go back to that game in June, 7 innings of work, 8 Ks. He looked really good, and that's the team he's playing tonight. So I really like this more or less line here on Monkey Knife Fight. I like the more on both for the hitter and Shohei Ohtani. I like the more in the pitching matchup. So folks, if you're agreeing with Tyler and I on that, we're in the same page there. You can scroll down, you can see your buy-in right at the top of the screen. Jason's showing us there. Go down, hit submit, and you're in to win. Tyler, were there any matchups that you wanted to take a look at in that Angels game, or any of the late slate for that matter?
So the late slate, I really like going to Colorado and San Diego.
Let's look at it.
Yeah, so I think rapid fire makes a lot of sense to me. So the rapid fire 3 out of 3. So I got Musgrove with the edge on the pitching strikeouts. I mean, it just makes sense. Let's see what we got real quick. So Freeland, we have him at 3.7 strikeouts, and Musgrove, we have him at 5.8. So a pretty considerable edge right there. And then I'm taking Tatis for the runs and RBIs, just based on the fact that his total bases is one of the largest on the slate. And if you're getting total bases, then you're probably getting some RBIs too. So,
well, speaking about RBIs, yeah, the guy has 2 home runs in his last 4 games, so he's doing something right.
Right, and then so Charlie Blackmon versus Trevor Story. It's pretty close. I'll probably just give the edge to Charlie Blackmon just because he's got that bit of an edge right there. But yeah, go ahead.
Monkey Knife Fight's giving him the edge. I was just going to add that in, and then you hit the nail on the head. So you like Charlie Blackmon in that matchup. Is it mainly because that he has the edge in the total bases, or is it just because he's been really good? He's been playing some great ball. I actually just added him on my fantasy team. I have no idea how he was a free agent, but somebody decided to move on from him. And Charlie Blackmon, he stepped it up over the last month or so. So I really like that matchup.
The bonus towards Charlie Blackmon does play into this because he's just only like 0.2 total bases below Trevor Story. So I'll go with Blackmon there.
I like it. And then if we go to the main slate there, Jason, speaking of Joe Musgrove, if we go to the main slate for the late games, here we go. Yeah, we're getting there. He was just showing us all how to buy in. Yeah, there he is, Joe Musgrove and Frankie Montez that we just talked about. So Joe Musgrove coming in at 5.8 on my Spari. And then this is where we're going to differentiate a bit here. He did strike out 6 Rockies back on July 10th, but since then he's combined for just 7 strikeouts in his last 2 starts. I like him to be effective in Colorado, but 7 strikeouts in his last 2 starts doesn't really inspire too much confidence for me to go out and get 6 tonight. Obviously, he's at that 5.8 mark on my Spari, so he's right around that 5.5. Tyler, where do you see that coming into play?
I think I lean towards the under just because, ever since, the spider attack crackdown, he's been really inconsistent with the strikeouts. And Colorado is not the best lineup, but I think it's really close. I don't mind either here, but I'm going to go under.
Yeah, well, one thing to note, too, is that Colorado, while they may not have the most production, they do have the 8th fewest strikeouts in the majors. So they don't strike out a lot. Joe Musgrove, as you said, I think that was actually a very good point that you alluded to. Over those last 2 starts, 7 strikeouts combined, and that's not a coincidence with when they started to do the pitching check where they have to go hats off, belts off. And obviously a lot of pitchers were very exuberated with their with how they handled themselves. Obviously, guys pulling their pants down to their ankles and whatnot at the start, but it really has made a difference in the pitching. I like the less there too. And as we said earlier, Frankie Montez, like the guy has been throwing Ks in the last 3 outings, 27 strikeouts his last 3 starts. So I like the more on Frankie Montez and I like the less on Joe Musgrove. And Tyler agreed with me. We're rolling today, folks. We're getting all agreements. It feels good to be matched up with a guy from my Spar. And it's great because the way I find my picks, folks, I go in with the old school homework. I look at the pitching matchup with the batter. I go through the splits. I go through how the team's been doing the last few days, how the players been doing in the last month or so. And then when you look at my Spari and you see those projections, it really gives you a sense of confidence and it becomes a lot more fun. Tyler, you can really obviously speak to the my Spari side of it a little more if you want to just take a note out of that and move into our next contest, whatever you're looking for. But folks, it's absolutely the way to do it. Head over to my Spari. It's so much fun. Combine it. You can select the monkey knife fight lines and they make it so easy for you. Tyler, what do you like next? And just tell people a little bit more about Spari there.
Yeah, so a big thing about my Spari, it's free right now. So you're not paying anything for it. It's all right there. Just go MLB and Monkey Knife Fights right there, and then you can sort by whatever you want. It's just really easy to use, really user friendly, and it's free. So the next thing I want to go to is on the night slate. I want to go to the main contest and more or less 3 out of 3. And so we've been talking a lot about Frankie Montez, going to stick with the more there. And then,
by the way, just before we continue, Jason's catching up to us here. So you're going to have to help him through this. I'm loving.
Okay.
Tyler, Tyler, I just got to say, I love how you're going for the 3 for 3. I love the aggression and just chasing them down. That's the way. That's what the monkey knife fighters want out there. Tyler, coming through for our MKFers listening at home. All right. Well, the slates are taking a second, but Tyler, continue on your train of thought. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've touched on Frankie Montez a lot. I'm going with more than 5.5 strikeouts. That makes a lot of sense. We talked about Tatis too. Current line I have right now is 1.5 total bases, and we have him projected for over 2.5 on my Spari. So hitting the more there, and then we got Manny Machado at 1.5 hits and walks, and on my Spari we have him at 1.6. I'm taking more there because it's a really good matchup against Kyle Freeland, who is a guy that does struggle to get strikeouts, which we touched on before as well. So I'm really liking the Padres today.
Yeah, he's not only just struggling to get strikeouts, he's struggling to keep guys from scoring runs at the moment. And, that's not a team that you want to be taking on in the Padres that have Manny Machado. You got Tatis Jr. coming up. And then obviously with that matchup, you said, there it is, folks. There's the contest. Tyler just walked us through. Tyler, if you just want to walk through that really quick, just to give the people at home what they need to know again, just so they can put a picture to the name.
Yeah, so Frankie Montez, we touched on a lot. Striking out a lot of batters lately. I'm going to go with more there. Fernando Tatis, if you go over to my Spari and you just sort by Spari total bases, I see Tatis comes in third at 2.59. So pretty much really over the 1.5 line. So that makes sense to me. And Manny Machado, if you go to the search bar in the top right, you just type in Machado, and then you can see he is at 1.63 projected hits and walks. So that makes a lot of sense to me as to why to go with Machado.
Boom, folks. All you need to do on Monkey Knife Fight is scroll down, select your buy-in anywhere from $2 to right now $250. So you got a lot of room to play with. You can either go low and just have some fun, or you can just go for it if you really trust Tyler's picks like I do, because the guy sounds smart. You can have some fun and go down, hit submit, and you're in to win. Now, because we're on the 3 for 3 and I'm loving this kind of vibe, I'm actually going to take control of this. Jason, can we go to check out these Blue Jays and the Red Sox, please? A little 3 for 3 in that. So we're going to go for the more or less. And there was another one there. I'm looking for the one with George Springer and Ryu. Hopefully it's still up. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
Well, either way, let's just keep that one up anyway, because Bo Bichette, total bases. Bo Bichette's been on fire as of late. I like that line. Let's talk about the pitchers first. We got Hanjin Ryu coming in, his line on Monkey Knife Fight. It was 4.5 strikeouts. That's hits allowed, obviously, at 5.5. He's thrown more than 4 Ks just once since June 4th. Just once. So that's really alarming to me. He had a good step. I think it was a 7K performance against Texas. So obviously that's good. But going back over a month and talking June, and you're talking about an ace of a franchise to not be able to get 5 strikeouts. He's taking on a hot Boston lineup today. I think you got to go for less on Hanjin Ryu. Tyler, how do you see that one playing out on my Spari? And how do you see that coming in with your own analytics?
Facing the Red Sox and trying to get strikeouts is a nightmare. And in terms of the my Spari projection, we have him at 4.6 strikeouts. So I believe our line says 4.5. Is that correct? Yeah.
Great on it. So again, I guess that's where it comes down to the split them, and that's where the old school homework research really comes in. And folks, for the ace of a team to have recorded 7 strikeouts in just one start since the beginning of June, we are at the end of July. That is not going to produce what you need, especially on the road in Fenway. After the way yesterday went with the emotions, the high lows, the Blue Jays can't hold on to anything. You got to take less on that. Eduardo Rodriguez, this is not a good game for him either. I think there's going to be a lot of hits if we're getting into it. He needs 6 strikeouts on Monkey Knife Fight. The Jays have the second fewest strikeouts in the, and he's gone for less than 6 Ks in 2 out of his last 3 starts. So again, his history, he's not getting the strikeouts that he needs, and he's taking on the Blue Jays, the second fewest strikeouts in the league. I'm going to go less and less, and I like there to be a ton of hits in this one. And that's why when I was talking earlier about the George Springer, they had a beautiful contest on Monkey Knife Fight. It still could be there, where Ryu was at 14.5 total outs. Rodriguez was at 15.5, and Springer just needed 2.5 total bases. And Springer has 6 knocks in his last 5 games with 2 home runs in that span and 6 runs scored. So he's getting around the bases with 6 runs scored in his last 6 games. I was really all over that. Hopefully it comes back online, folks, but that was my 3 for 3 steal of the day. Obviously, Bo Bichette's in there now. He's been doing some great work. But Tyler, how do you see George Springer doing tonight in Boston?
So George Springer, he does hit that 2 total base threshold that been alluding to at 2.01. It's a good matchup for him. Rodriguez struggles to get strikeouts, and George Springer is a guy that's kind of prone to strikeouts, but a lot of power there. So if Rodriguez isn't missing the bats, then odds are Springer is going to be hitting the ball hard. So I think Springer looks really good.
Yeah, well, especially in that matchup there that Jason has up on the screen right now, it's actually RBIs plus runs. And we were just mentioning the guy's got 2 home runs his last 6 games and 6 runs scored with 8 knocks. Yeah, I think that's a nice line there for George Springer. I really, really like that. Moving into the featured contest for the main games, we got Freddie Peralta. He's on the bump. Nope, that's the late games. Thanks, though, Jason. Next time. Boom roasted. Main games. There it is. There's our guy, Eduardo Rodriguez. We just touched on him. I have him going for less. Tyler, where do you see Rodriguez go? Where does my Spari have him?
So I like Rodriguez at less, and we have him coming in at 5.2. So also going to less there.
Perfect. I love it when the model agrees, folks. It brings a smile to my face. It's like eating cake on my birthday. Nothing quite hits it right. Freddie Peralta. He knows how to get strikeouts, but he has just 5 Ks in his last start. Now he needs 7 strikeouts against the Pirates, who have the 4th fewest strikeouts in the majors. It seems like a lot to ask, but Peralta, he does have the heat. He can do it. I personally am leaning towards the less. Obviously, 5 Ks in his last outing and taking on a team with the 4th fewest in the majors. I am going to lean towards the less, but Tyler, you can convince me otherwise. How does that come in on my Spari?
So we have him just hitting the over, and kind of like a game theory thing here. If you think that Peralta, he's pitching into the 6th inning, odds are he's probably going to hit 7 strikeouts because that last start you were alluding to was against the White Sox. He only went 4 innings and he got 5 Ks. So kind of. Just kind of predicting how the game goes. I think he does go, pretty deep in this one, 6-7 innings. So I think more makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, again, right. As I said, the analytical side, I was looking at it, but I was definitely able to be convinced. And I really like Peralta. I think Freddie Peralta is one of those guys that his location with his fastball is always on point. Obviously not always, like any pitcher, he has his days, but for the better part, he's consistent with his locations. He's got stuff that can move, like his curveball sweeps across the plate. And then again, he can absolutely tattoo it with the speed. So he's a good pitcher. And then Tyler likes him for more, folks, in my Spari. So we'll take more on Freddie Peralta there. Remember, less on Eduardo Rodriguez. He's got to deal with that blistering Blue Jay lineup and Vladimir Guerrero Jr., as we mentioned before. See those picks there. Scroll down, select your buy. And again, $2 all the way up to $1,000 here. Holy moly. So if you really want to have some fun with the main games, you can do that. But $2 to $1,000, select your buy, and whatever you're comfortable with, folks, hit submit and you're in to win. Tyler, keep talking to me. I'm having too much fun for this to end. I got a couple notes on a game that's going to start at noon, but just for the folks listening, it's already started, so it doesn't really matter. So Tyler, what's next on your watch?
Yeah, so I really like the offense in the Detroit and Baltimore game. And I'm looking at the rapid fire 3 for 3 here. Ooh. And so
the 3 for 3s are coming out today, folks. Mine was non-existent.
I like Eric Haas to get more than Trey Mancini. Haas looks really good in our model. 2.33 total bases, 1.61 runs and RBIs. I think Haas makes a lot of sense. And then John Scope, Austin Hayes are pretty close. I'll take Hayes because he's got the bonus. And I'm pretty sure he has the edge over Scope too. It's really close. So Scope, we have him at 1.9 total bases, and we have Hayes at 1.82. So I'll take Hayes because he has the bonus. And and I'll take Ryan Mountcastle over Candelario. Mountcastle just is more of a power hitter than Candelario is. Candelario more of like a singles kind of a guy, and Mountcastle, he did have that 3 home run game early in the season, so I think he does. He has the edge over Candelario there.
So you are going against two of the batters here that have the little bit of the bonus points in hand on Monkey Knife Fight. How comfortable are you with these picks? And is it just for people at home? It's a fun question because obviously you see that and you're leaning towards, okay, he's got that extra half a base, he's got that extra half run, half RBI. So where do you draw the line with comfortability on my Spari? Does it have to be a full point above that, or is it a bit of a gut feeling in there too?
Yeah, I think both play into it. Actually looking at it again, maybe Trey Mancini has the edge over Haas, but I think that's really close. I prefer Haas because he's been hitting the homers lately. So see if I can pull up his game log real quick.
A home run is an RBI and a run, so that's 2 points right there. So
Haas has He's got 2 homers in his last 3 games. Looks like he's seeing the ball well, and he's facing a Baltimore pitcher who's not good. It's Alex Wells, and if you never heard of him, it's probably for a reason. So yeah, I like to look at the bonus when it's really close. And then I also like to think about the probability of these hitters hitting for power. It like Mountcastle and Candelario. I think Mountcastle easily has the edge there, so I don't even really think about the bonus too much.
Moving into another pitching matchup that I wanted to take a look at, Jason, if you could please. It was the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, we mentioned the Freddie Peralta thing earlier. We have more on him. How do we see his counterpart doing? Because obviously 6 strikeouts, that's a lot. The Brewers, they're playing some great baseball. They're leading the Central Division out in the National League. Where do you think the Pirates come in? How do you think this game goes, actually? Because I think this is going to be a very interesting, and I actually have it as a low-scoring game, Tyler. Where do you have this pitching matchup coming in, and how do you see the game playing out?
So we have Chad Kuhl coming in at 4.3 strikeouts. So I believe that'll be less there. But Milwaukee lately, they've been swinging the bats pretty well. They've been getting some reinforcements. They just traded for Eduardo Escobar. I don't think he's going to play today, but they are getting more quality hitters in there. So, if you're kind of, still thinking about early in the season when they just struggled really, really hard. That's not really what this team is anymore. The Brewers aren't really a team that's going to hit a lot of home runs, but they're going to get a lot of hits and they're going to put the bat on the ball a lot. So, I like less for Chad Kuhl.
Yeah, so we both have the less on that. He hasn't been throwing too many Ks as of late. And as for Freddie Peralta, we talked about it earlier. We're taking the more on that. The guy's just got too much stuff to be kept off the K count. All right, folks. Well, thank you for tuning in to Monkey Knife Fight today. Tyler, are there any other matchups that you want to hit on real quick?
Let's see. I'm just focusing a lot of pitching today. In the night games, the more or less 2 out of 2, just nice and easy, kind of like a cash game, going more on Frankie Montez and less on Joe Musgrove.
There it is, folks. We talked about it just a little earlier. More and less, keeping it simple. I have that too. My Spari has it. Tyler has it. So you got the computer side of it and then 2 guys that do their homework. It sounds pretty good to me. I like it. I like it a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in to Monkey Knife Fight Live today on Thursday for the MLB. Folks, I'm Connor Rowntree. That's our guy, T Mays. Remember to hit it hard.